It's September the 9th. Let's read the Bible. Friends, welcome back. Here we are, September, over 2/3 of the way through our year-long journey from Genesis to Revelation in just 1 year. Thank you for joining us. Glad to have you with us. Again, thanks to all of you who are telling your friends about this. Thanks to those of you who are taking these on YouTube and on Facebook and on Rumble, other social media. You're sharing these videos with your friends. Means a great deal to us. Thank you so much for liking the videos and for subscribing to the YouTube channel and the Rumble channel. Means a great deal to us. Got a note, just a couple days ago. My friend says, we can do it with the help of the Lord and your leadership commitment to the reading. I think my friend means we're going to make it. Well, by God's grace, we are going to make it. I can't thank you enough. I am seeing details that I have either forgotten or not seen before. Also, and I really like this, I have a few new believers reading along with you and are gaining a love for God's Word. Thank you, Pastor Ray. God bless you. And Shirley, thank you so much for your kind words. And thank you for these telling your friends, these new believers. Wow, I can't think of anything better for a new believer than to hop on the Bible bus with us. So if you've got some folks you're discipling, you're in a small group, Sunday school class, let them know there's still time for people to join us. Okay, book of Ecclesiastes. I finished the reading yesterday, and I told Marlene, I can tell the books of the Bible that I've really thought about a lot because I got a lot to say. And, some of the books of the Bible that I haven't, over all these years, I haven't had a chance to teach through or thought about as much. I can tell that too. Well, Ecclesiastes, I got a lot to say about this. I'm going to try to keep myself under some control today. Just remember, written by Solomon, end of his life. It's an old man musing. He's asking the question, what can we learn about the meaning of life from the horizontal position? Not the vertical position, but the horizontal, just life under the sun. What can we figure out about what's the meaning of life? And he's really occupied with a couple thoughts. One is death. Death is coming. And number two, after we die, humanly speaking, we live, we die, we're buried, we're forgotten. So what's the point of it all? And that leads him into, the quest for the meaning of life. That's, by the way, here's the simple outline of the book, The Quest for the Meaning of Life, chapters 1-6. The limits of the quest, sort of the limitations of life itself, chapters 7-10. We can learn some things, but a whole lot is still hidden from us. Life is uncertain for all of us. And then the final answer, chapters 11 and 12. The quest, 1-6, the limits, 7-10, the final answer, chapters 11 and 12. Let's just hop right in and just see what we get here. Ecclesiastes 4. Again, I observed all the acts of oppression being done under the sun. Look at the tears of those who are oppressed. They have no one to comfort them. Power is with those who oppress them. They have no one to comfort them. So I commended the dead who have already died more than the living who are still alive. But better than either of them is the one who has not yet existed, who has not seen the evil activity that is done under the sun. And sometimes we do say that. We do see somebody born into incredible suffering. And we go, maybe it would have been better if they'd never been born at all. That's a human observation. It's the kind of thing that Solomon's talking about. Verse 4, I saw that all labor and all skillful work is due to one person's jealousy of another. This too is futile and a pursuit of the wind. The fool folds his arms and consumes his own flesh. Better one handful with rest than two handfuls with effort in a pursuit of the wind. Again, vanity. Again, I saw futility, meaningless, vanity under the sun. There is a person without a companion, without even a son or brother, and though there is no end to all his struggles, his eyes are still not content with riches. Who am I struggling for, he asked, and depriving myself of good things? This too is futile and a miserable task. Two are better than one, because they have a good reward for their efforts. For if either falls, his companion can lift him up. But pity the one who falls without another to lift him up. Also, if two lie down together, they can keep warm. But how can one person alone keep warm? And if someone overpowers one person, two can resist him. A cord of three strands is not easily broken. Better is a poor but wise youth than an old but foolish king who no longer pays attention to warnings. For he came from prison to be king, and even though he was born poor in his kingdom, I saw all the living who move about under the sun follow a second youth who succeeds him. There is no limit to all the people who were before them, and yet those who come later will not rejoice in him. This too is futile and a pursuit of the wind. He's just talking about the bizarre inequities of life. The young man, old man, the fool, the wise man, the fool. You get a kingdom, you're forgotten, somebody else comes along. There's always somebody before us. There's always somebody after us. Are they even going to remember us when we're gone? Futile, meaningless. Okay? Chapter 5. Guard your steps when you go to the house of God. Better to approach in obedience than to offer the sacrifices fools do, for they ignorantly do wrong. Do not be hasty to speak, and do not be impulsive to make a speech before God. God is in heaven, and you are on earth, so let your words be few. Just as dreams accompany much labor, so also a fool's voice comes with many words. When you make a vow to God, don't delay fulfilling it, because he does not delight in fools. Fulfill what you vow. Better that you do not vow than that you vow and not fulfill it. Do not let your mouth bring guilt on you, and do not say in the presence of the messenger that it was a mistake. Why should God be angry with your words and destroy the work of your hands? For many dreams bring futility, so do many words. Therefore, fear God. Really, feel like it should say, therefore, fear God and shut up. Well, it is saying something like that. Let your words be few. Verse 8, if you see oppression of the poor and perversion of justice and righteousness in the province, don't be astonished at the situation, because one official protects another official and higher officials protect them. The profit from the land is taken by all. The king is served by the field. The whole thing, the system is just rigged. Boy, isn't that the truth? The one who loves silver is never satisfied with silver, and whoever loves wealth is never satisfied with income. This too is futile. How much money is enough money? Just one more dollar. When good things increase, the ones who consume them multiply. What then is the profit to the owner except to gaze at them with his eyes? The sleep of the worker is sweet, whether he eats little or much, but the abundance of the rich permits him no sleep. You can have so much money that you can't sleep. But the poor man sleeps well, doesn't have to worry about protecting all his investments. There is a sickening tragedy I've seen under the sun, wealth kept by its owner to his harm. That wealth was lost in a bad venture, so that when he fathered a son, he was empty-handed. As he came from his mother's womb, so he will go again, naked as he came. He will take nothing for his efforts that he can carry in his hands. This, too, is a sickening tragedy. Exactly as he comes, so he will go. What does the one gain who struggles for the wind? What is more, he eats in darkness all his days, with much frustration, sickness, and anger. Here is what I have seen to be good. See, just when you think Solomon is giving over to total despair, he's bringing us back to the point. In view of all the inequities of life, look, it is appropriate to eat and drink and experience good and all the labor one does under the sun during the few days of his life God has given him, because that is his reward. What is the reward? Eat and drink and enjoy the life God has given you. Enjoy the work you are given to do. Furthermore, everyone to whom God has given riches and wealth, he has also allowed him to enjoy them. Take his reward and rejoice in his labor. This is a gift of God. For he does not often consider the days of his life, because God keeps him occupied with the joy of his heart. So whether you're rich or poor, enjoy what God has given you. There's going to be a lot around you that isn't going to make sense. So whether you eat beans and bread, a little bit of meat in there, get a little bit of soup or something, or whether you're eating at a 5-star restaurant, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Enjoy what God has given you, because that enjoyment of life, that is a gift from the Lord. Ecclesiastes 6. Here's a tragedy I have observed under the sun, and it weighs heavily on humanity. God gives a person riches, wealth, and honor so that he lacks nothing of all he desires for himself. But God does not allow him to enjoy them. Instead, a stranger will enjoy them. This is futile and a sickening tragedy. A man may father 100 children and live many years. Whew. No matter how long he lives, if he is not satisfied by good things and does not even have a proper burial, I say that a stillborn child is better off than he. For he comes in futility and he goes in darkness, and his name is shrouded in darkness. Though a stillborn child does not see the sun and is not conscious, it has more rest than he. And if a person lives 1,000 years twice, but does not experience happiness, do not both go to the same place? This is the truth. Death is the great leveler. I don't care whether you're Elon Musk or Bill Gates or Zuckerberg or that other guy up in Omaha and that other guy down there in Mexico. I don't know who all the other rich people are, the super rich. I don't know who they are. It doesn't matter. There's some guy who lives in a slum somewhere. Everybody dies. If a person lives 2,000 years, 1,000 years twice, but doesn't experience happiness, do not both go to the same place. He means to the place of death. All of a person's labor, verse 7, is for his stomach, yet his appetite is never satisfied. That's true of the rich and the poor. What advantage then does the wise person have over the fool? What advantage is there for the poor person who knows how to conduct himself before others? Better what the eyes see than wandering desire. This too is futile and a pursuit of the wind. Better to enjoy. This is like Proverbs. Better a little crust where love is than filet mignon. That Wagyu beef, is that what it's called? That real fancy stuff from Japan. Than a great big banquet with strife and hatred. Whatever exists, verse 10, was given its name long ago, and it is known what mankind is. But he is not able to contend with the one stronger than he. For when there are many words, they increase futility. Talk, talk, talk. For what is the advantage for mankind? For who knows what is good for anyone in life? In the few days of his futile life that he spends like a shadow, who can tell anyone what will happen after him under the sun? We used to sing a long time ago, happiness is the Lord. Real joy is mine. Better when teardrops fall. I found the secret. Happiness is the Lord. This is going to be the end of all of this. He's reminding us that we talk a lot. We don't understand. We say we know, but we don't really know. We think we understand, but we don't understand all that goes on around us. How much better to take life as God gives it to us, to admit what we don't know, to talk less and worship more, to wait and trust and enjoy what God has given us. And here's the answer. I mean, look, who can tell anyone what will happen after him under the sun? And there's that phrase, under the sun. Look, if any of us knew with certainty what was going to happen tomorrow or next week, next Tuesday, you could make a killing in the stock market. And there are guys who invest because they think they can make a killing on Tuesday or Wednesday because they buy they short the stock, or they, whatever it is. They hedge, Clearly I'm not any expert in all that, but the options and all of that, that the billions are invested by people who think they know. No one knows. No one knows for certain what is going to happen except God. Trust Him. Trust Him. Enjoy the life God has given you. We are halfway through this amazing book of Ecclesiastes. I can't wait to see what's going to happen tomorrow. So let's go out. Let's go out and trust in God. Enjoy your life today. Don't worry about what you don't know and don't understand, which is basically almost everything we don't know. How little we know, how little we understand. Enjoy what God has given you. Trust in Him. Have a great day. Focus on Him. Keep your eyes on Him. Happiness is the Lord. Well, remember that. Have a great day. Come back tomorrow. I literally, honestly, I can't wait for our next adventure in the book of Ecclesiastes. See you back here tomorrow. God bless.